Hi, everyone. It's me, Krylios, Team Rayceen Productions MC and producer. And joining me today is Gordon Fletcher. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Certainly, certainly. It's our pleasure to have you here. So I want to start this all off with just having you introduce yourself to our audience and give us a little background about who you are.
Absolutely. So, Gordon Fletcher, I'm a three-term ANC commissioner, advisory neighborhood commissioner in the North Michigan Park community of Ward 5. I'm also a two-term chair of the Ward 5 Democrats, a position that I held for 2 terms. And before that, I was a Ward 5 Democrats committee man. So I have a body of work within the ward and within our city with service to Ward 5. I'm also a lawyer. I work for Department of Commerce. NOAA specifically, I worked there until July where I resigned so I could dedicate myself 100% to this run. The only other thing that I do is I teach. I'm a professor at American University. I teach criminal justice and public policy. I teach negotiations at the law school and also legal analysis of local governments. Now, one thing I didn't say to you earlier, but I could already know we connect on is I was born in Jamaica. I know I have to tell you.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I'm trying to be the first Jamaican man, Caribbean man, immigrant to become a Ward 5 council member. And so my background is very unique because I was born in Jamaica. I grew up in New York. I've been here for 20 years. I can connect with so many different individuals. And I think that's very important in a ward such as Ward 5, where we have such diversity. You have young families, you have older families, you have new residents, Native Washingtonians, and everyone in between. You know, Ward 5's Black population has shifted significantly within the last 10 years. In 2010, Ward 5 was 76% Black. In 2022, Ward 5 is 55% Black, with the Latino population being the fastest growing population in Ward 5. We have to honor that diversity and make sure everyone feels inclusive and welcomed in Ward 5. So that's what I'm about. And when you hear about the Gordon Fletcher for Ward 5 Council campaign, safety is number one for us. Safety, safety, safety. 4 years from now, I want everyone in Ward 5 and around the city to say Ward 5 is a safer place to live. We're talking about safer streets. We're talking about safer communities, safer buildings, more safety for our seniors. And right underneath that, education and housing, which also connect to safety. Those are some of the big issue areas for our campaign. And so that's just a little bit about who I am, where I've been. And lastly, but certainly not least, I've been married a little over 2 years, married to my amazing wife, Brittany Fletcher. And she's a mental health therapist and she works at Mary Center.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction. So with hearing so much and all the things that you've had on your plate, all the things that you've done, why is it that this year you've chosen that, you want to throw your hat in the ring to be the representative for Ward 5 on the DC Council?
Yeah, another great question. I believe timing is everything. And I believe trust and having a body of work are important. So with all those things being true, I'm in my 3rd term as an ANC commissioner. I'm in my 2nd term as a Ward 5 Democrats chairman. I've been in these positions for some time. I've worked with individuals, right? I've built and had the opportunity to work with some of the most amazing Ward 5 leaders. And so with all of that, I'm ready to take it to the next level. I think it's important to have that foundation before you run for any other position. I think 2022 is the right time for us to do this as well, because as I just said to you before with the numbers, Ward 5 is even more diverse now than it was 10 years ago. So we need a leader that can understand this diversity and make everyone feel welcome. So this is the right time. And hey, it just so happened that Councilmember McDuffie is not running for re-election, right? That wasn't something that I could foresee. I'm not a fortune teller. I announced my campaign in July. That's before Councilmember McDuffie announced that he was not officially running for Ward 5 council re-election. I was hoping that he wasn't running, but I was prepared to run either way. And so I think Ward 5 needs somebody who's ready to lead, know that he or she is able to do so. And I'm the person for the job. I'm the best person for the job.
Thank you, certainly. So, you touch on a few things like the growing diversity in Ward 5, the safety of Ward 5. Talk to me a little bit about how you plan to tackle some of those issues that are really close to your heart if elected to this position.
Absolutely. And so we have a very unique political system in DC. We have ANC commissioners. We also have civic associations. And I have lived in other places. And I think this is important to connect with. I've lived in other places. So I've seen the political structure in New York. I've seen the political structure in California. I hear about the political structure all the time from back in Jamaica from my mother and father. DC is different. We have to utilize our ANCs much more than we currently do. And that's one thing I want to do to help combat crime, combat public safety issues, is work with our ANC commissioners much more than we currently do. As a 3-term ANC commissioner, I have the relationship, I understand the position, I understand how different stakeholders view ANCs. All of that is needed to elevate ANC commissioners across Ward 5. And as a current ANC commissioner, I brought back the Orange Hat Patrol, which is very similar to community policing in New York, like the Guardian Angels, right? And so that community policing is what helped reduce mass incarceration, which helped reduce gun violence and so many crimes in the 80s and 90s in DC. So we brought it back. There's some things that, we could bring back from older times, older generations, and have a modern twist to it. Let's make sure that our Orange Hat Patrol, which I would call it the Ward 5 Public Safety Squad, let's make sure that we also empower ANCs and other community members to provide comments around budgets, around budget season. That way, because that's another very important role of a council member, is to advocate for what budget items, and so I want to empower and get the voice of the community in the entire process. And there's no better way to do that than through the ANCs, through civic associations. And finally, we have to bring back neighborhood policing. I don't believe in defunding the police. I don't like that term. I believe in reallocation of funds. I believe in taking away certain services from MPD and placing them in DDOT, placing them in Department of Behavioral Health, right? And I also believe in neighborhood policing, where we have police officers that are getting out their cars, walking the patrols, walking the beats, and they live in the neighborhoods that they're patrolling, rather than living in Maryland or Virginia and patrolling DC. That doesn't work out well for anybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Now, let me know what makes you stand out from the pack. Why are you the best choice for
Absolutely.
this role?
And you know what? I've been hearing this question a lot more recently. I'm happy for it because I don't really like talking about myself, but I understand that we need to, because I have to show the difference between me and others. So here it is, right? To the right of me, you have some older individuals, folks that have been household names, such as Harry Thomas Jr. and Vincent Orange. They have reached where I am hoping to ascend to, the position of Ward 5 council member. I can never speak to that position the same way I could once in the position. The same way how I couldn't speak to being a lawyer, an ANC commissioner, a Ward 5 Democrats chairman, a professor, until I was in those roles. So we gotta give them the respect no matter what. However, their time has come and gone. Ward 5 is different. We need new leadership. We need fresh perspectives and fresh ideas. Again, no disrespect to those two gentlemen. Just they have served and their time has come and gone. Now, I'm not saying that older residents don't matter. I'm saying we need new ideas to serve a diverse community. Now, to the left of me, you have newer candidates. You have Zachary Parker and you have Faith Gibson Hubbard. Two individuals that are working very well and very hard for Ward 5 in our city. However, between the two of them, they've only ran for office once before this. I've run 6 times and I've won each time. We need somebody that can win. We need somebody that's independent. Zachary Parker has been endorsed by Ed Lazier, by Carl Rayceen, respectable, great individuals, especially our Attorney General Carl Rayceen. However, with me, you know that you're going to get an independent voice. You're going to get somebody that's going to be focused on the people and only the people, right? And that's important. We talk about Faith Gibson Hubbard, an amazing woman, an amazing Black woman. No question about that. I know her family well. However, she's never run for office before. And this is not just a popularity contest. This is about who is the best ready to serve Ward 5. And that is me based upon my experience, my body of work. I can talk about things that I've done in my roles as ANC, my role as Ward 5 Democrats chairman. And I could also explain that I've worked in every level of government, federal government with NOAA, Department of Commerce, to Congress with Senator John Kerry, Congressman Alcee Hastings, and to the local level as a 3-term ANC commissioner. So point blank, based upon those reasons, I'm best suited for this role.
Thank you. Great answer. So when does voting begin? I know some people out there are, wondering that. So when does voting begin?
So absentee ballots are going to start going out in April. Early voting will begin, I believe, June 6th. Election day is Tuesday, June 21st. So it's coming up, ladies and gentlemen. It's right around the corner, where I know right now everyone, has snow in their minds because snow just keeps hitting us. But before you know it, it'll be a little warmer. And we're going to be getting into the fourth quarter, as I call it, of the race. And I'm ready. This is a unique time for Ward 5. This is a unique opportunity that we have in Ward 5. Let's make sure we elect the person that has the passion, that has the ideas, that has the relationships, the experience to take us to a place that we have never been in Ward 5 together. And that is something that I know I can do.
Thank you. And to our viewers out there, if you want to make sure that you are vote ready, come, June for everything. If you want to check your status, pledge to vote, register to vote, all of that, text Team Rayceen to 40649. That is courtesy of HeadCount.org. Once again, text Team Rayceen to 40649 and make sure you are vote ready for this year's upcoming elections. Now, Gordon, if people want to find out more about you, your campaign, follow you, keep up with what you're doing, support you, donate if needs be, how can they go ahead and do that?
Thank you for that question. And we always are looking for donations and volunteers and support. We are running a people-powered campaign. We are the first person to enter the race. We're the first ones to qualify for a fair elections campaign, which is a campaign where you cannot accept donations any greater than $50, but the government matches it 5-to-1. So it turns 50 into 300. So this is a people-powered campaign. No PAC money, no big developer money, just people of Ward 5. So you can learn more about my policies and my positions on our website, gordonforward5.com. You can also go to our social media at gordonforward5 on IG, on Facebook. That way you can learn more about, follow us, and you can also donate on my website or through our social media pages. Thank y'all so much. Let's keep doing this for Ward 5. Let's keep building this movement because we can do this together. Unite us greater than ever before and take us together in Ward 5 to places we've never been. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gordon. Thanks so much for joining me today. It has been such a pleasure. To our viewers, make sure that you follow Team Rayceen on all forms of social media. And most of all, thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.